Welcome to Diva's Two Cents, where we take complicated matters and break them down for the masses. We meet every Friday at 4 p.m. Central Time, so tune in, okay? Today, I have a special guest, a best-selling author, Susan Rucker, the founder and impact of Impactful Strategies, who elevates people, teams, and enterprises through motivational speaking, consulting, and leadership coaching by building skills to make and feel a real impact in your life. She's recognized as the people whisperer for her ability to connect with and transform people and organizations to achieve breakthrough results. Susan was filmed by an Emmy award-winning crew for her interview on Breakthrough with Lisa Nichols, which aired, by the way, on ABC, CBS, NBC, and Fox affiliates around the country. Her partnership with Jack Canfield on the #1 bestseller book, The Keys to Authenticity, helps the masses unlock the code to fulfilling life and business. Her new book, Rise Up, Ignite Your Inner Fire, in partnership with best-selling author Lisa Nichols, will launch May the 23rd, 2024. I am so excited that she has agreed to be on this podcast just for you, my friends. So let's bring her on. Hello, welcome, Miss Susan Rucker.
Thank you so much, Diva, for inviting me. It's an honor.
Thank you. I'm so happy that you agreed. I know you have a very busy schedule. I know you're doing a lot of wonderful things. So please, for the audience, tell us a little bit about yourself, Susan, so that they can get to know you and they can start looking for your pieces of work out there, your books, and follow you.
Thank you so much, Diva. Well, a little bit about me is I'm a Korean adoptee, grew up in Minnesota, and my career has really been in operations and in HR. And I've worked for some amazing companies and had lots of wonderful experiences. For me, what I'm really about now is I started my company a little over 6 years ago, and I'm really getting into my purpose, I call it, in life, kind of built up to this point, and that is really to go help people make the impact they want to in their lives. What I have found, right, through my experiences is that people just need help in building skills. And so I realized that I want to be able to help with the skills that I have to build other people so they can make bigger and bigger impacts, because that's what I have found more and more people are wanting and wishing they could do at a faster pace.
Oh, so you help people develop their skills or find out what their skills are?
It could be both. Sometimes they don't know what they want to do. Sometimes they're at a crossroads. Sometimes they run a team and they're just struggling with their team on where to do with it. Can they develop them? So we all only have so much skill ourselves. And every one of us, right, quite frankly, right, can only teach what we already know or have, but we don't know everything. And so what we can do is we can leverage the talent of others. And that's where I could come in, where I can speak, right? I can develop skills. I can do organizational effectiveness for companies and people. And what I really do is assess where do they lack, either organization skills or things, and then what skills they want to develop to get to the place they want to be to make the impact they want. That's where I come in to help with that, motivate people, get them kind of just aligned up, and then really hone in on building the skills that would get them there.
Okay, so you say an individual. So because I know that you coach large groups, I think you're going to be coaching a very, very large group, thousands of people throughout the United States. So how do you get from the large group training to that individualized training? I mean, how do you get that?
Yeah, so it's really about I'm looking for people that want to make a bigger impact. And that's my calling. So I specific when I work with a client, whether it's an individual or a big company or a medium-sized company, I'm looking for people that want to make a different impact. And so when you said, how do I get from big companies to smaller, like individuals, it's people reach out or I find them and they tell me what they're looking for. And if it's something
Okay.
I feel I can help with, then I can support them, right? So to your point, when you said I can work with thousands, right? So I've been honored to be able to work with, for example, First Service Residential, which is the largest property management company in the US. and they've invited me to come speak to their entire organization nationwide, which is over 16,000 people on May 29th. And that's for mental health awareness, right? And then AAPI, which is Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. The topic I'm speaking on is overcoming overwhelm, which is a hot, hot topic. And that can apply to large organizations. Everybody who works for them. It can apply to an individual who's just struggling. So that is where people find me from referrals. They go to my website, or I'm speaking, to people and they come up to me and just want help. So I can help individuals, I can help small groups, and I can help large teams.
Wow. Well, listen, the topic itself, overwhelmed, right?
Yeah.
Would you say that there's a correlation between overwhelmed and confidence?
Oh, absolutely. Right. Like when overwhelm takes over, a lot of times it comes from the subconscious. And so we're not even conscious of it. And so even the most confident people, when they become overwhelmed, their confidence wanes because suddenly those feelings of overwhelm overtake us, and then our confidence level will just dissipate a little bit or go down because we're feeling in a different state. And so it's important to recognize it sooner. And what people don't maybe realize is because it starts in our subconscious and we're not aware of it. It's how do we get in front of it quicker before it becomes massively overwhelming to the point of potential burnout.
Ah, I see. So you really, with someone, if you're out there and you're feeling that feeling that we all get once in a while of being overwhelmed, I guess you have to tap into your own confidence. Is that how it would work? I know there's a process to the whole thing. It's just very interesting to hear the word overwhelmed because we all get overwhelmed. I mean, for whatever reason, we all get overwhelmed, and we have to recognize that feeling it's a feeling of overwhelm versus a feeling of lack of confidence. Would you say that?
I could see exactly what you're saying, definitely, right? So what happens is overwhelm is just that feeling, right, where we just can no longer handle something at whatever level. It could be small overwhelm, large overwhelm, to your point. But what happens is there's a component of confidence that's going to be a side effect of when we're overwhelmed. You can be confident about something and then suddenly feel overwhelmed. And what happens is those invasive thoughts will take over. And that's why sometimes the confidence wane. But it isn't overwhelm isn't about confidence in general, right? Overwhelm happens to all of us all the time, quite frankly, right? And I think what I really want to try to do is help bring it to light for people because as I'm talking to collaborators, talking to, business owners, talking to managers, talking to leaders, talking to individuals, the common theme right now that's just one of the hottest topics that people are just not sure how to handle as much anymore is overwhelm because it's actually becoming worse. It's becoming more pervasive than ever before. And people aren't quite sure why, but there's actual reasons. There's systemic reasons, there's environmental reasons, right? Post COVID, overwhelm has increased significantly. And so it's one of these things that if we don't get in front of the topic, it doesn't get better. And quite frankly, I think people normalize it like, well, it's just overwhelm. And so they dismiss it like it's not a big deal. The problem is it is a big deal and it can be a bigger deal if we dismiss it. So bringing it out in the open, having people be able to talk about it, be able to normalize that we all get it. But just because we all get it doesn't mean we all know how to handle it. It
Mm-hmm.
doesn't mean we all know what to do with it when we have it. And what happens is it's causing massive problems for people and for organizations. People
Wow.
don't know how to handle it. So it becomes medical issues, right? We get stressed out. People are, calling off. Productivity is waning. And then, quite frankly, people are what we call quiet quitting, which they're at work, but not really working well because they're in overwhelm. And it
Mm-hmm.
is, if we're not careful, whether as an individual or as people leaders of teams, and we don't recognize what's happening to our teams and our people and get in front of it, then it's going to cause a bigger issue for one, keeping our talent, and one, really being able to hit results we want to effectively because it's going to be very pervasive behind the scenes.
Wow, that's really interesting, Susan. Okay, so talk to me about these books that you're writing and this new venture that you have embarked in. Talk to me.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you. So, people were asking me to write a book so many years ago. And like many people out there who want to write a book or have been asked to write a book, I was in the space of like, well, I don't know how to write a book. Like, what does that look like? So I didn't do it for many years. But I've always read a lot. I've admired authors and things. I've learned a lot from books. It's sparked a lot of interest. So I realized that to get the message out, really, if I want to help as many people as I can, make the impact I wanted to, I needed to get the message to a larger audience. And so I was able to fortunately work my very first project with Jack Canfield, who is just an absolute, um, just an icon for me in the author world, right? He's a leadership coach. He's just somebody who's really stands up for, like, most people know him for Chicken Soup for the Soul. Every time I say that, people are like, oh, young or old, right? They know that. But he's done a ton of books since then and a lot on leadership and people. And so for me, I was able to do the Keys to Authenticity with Jack Canfield, which debuted last July and was able to become a #1 bestseller. So I was really proud of that. It's myself and Jack Canfield and other authors. And we're really just talking about how authenticity has really been able to help us leverage both our personal and professional lives, get us to the next level. And then recently, right, I was able to work with Lisa Nichols when I was interviewing with Lisa Nichols. She interviewed me for her late night show, as you mentioned at the beginning. She's also does books. And so one of the books I was able to collaborate with her and other authors is called Rise Up, right? Ignite Your Inner Fire. And it really spoke to me. Lisa's a powerhouse. So I thought if I'm going to do another book, I really want to make sure it's always speaking to me about how do I hit the masses? How do I help get the word out to make the impact I want? So that book's coming up May 23rd, and I'm really proud of it because I had to go really to that deep place, Diva. I call
Uh-huh.
it, right? Like I had to really kind of bare my soul if I'm going to teach others or help others, inspire them with courage. It's really stories about courage and commitment. Then I had to really be able to go deep myself. So I'm really proud of what I came up with to be able to help out others. So my chapter is called Shatterproof, right? A story of rising up. So inside of it. And really, it's just to be able to help others understand, like when life knocks us down, how do we get back up and figure it out? Because it's difficult and it's not easy for anybody. We all have different levels of difficulty, but
Mhm.
it's hard for us all. And so sometimes we just need a little encouragement. We need a little bit of slowing down, I call it, to speed up.
That's true. Wow, that's exciting. That is
Mhm.
very exciting. For those of you out there, her book is launching the 23rd
Yes,
of
of
this
May. Yeah.
of
Yes.
this month. So, can you repeat the title again? We'll put it in.
Absolutely. Absolutely. They can get it on Amazon. They can get it at any bookstore. If they just go in, they can order it, right? It's just called Rise Up, Ignite Your Inner Fire. And if they just put Rise Up with Lisa Nichols, right, it'll come up.
Okay, excellent, excellent. Well, tell us a little bit about how you can motivate all these people. You can write these books with these known authors, renowned authors. What motivates or keeps Susan Rucker going?
Oh, thank you. That's a good question. What does motivate and keep Susan? I will tell you, it is hearing other people's stories and knowing that the impact when people give feedback backwards, it says, I've made an impact in their life when you didn't even know it. Like I had somebody contact me when he was 18. I mean, I was his manager when he was 18, and now he's in his 30s. And he said,
Mm.
I don't know. He just contacted me on LinkedIn. He said, I don't know if you remember me, but you really made an impact in my life. And so when I hear stories like that, it really motivates me to remember that I'm here for a purpose. And my purpose is to help other people live their purpose. And to do that means I've got to be motivated myself. And when I'm not, I go seek out from others that can help motivate me in the moment
Mhm.
so that I can be there and show up for others so that they can make the impact. So I remember the bigger purpose, right? When I get in my own head and in my own way, I stop and remember that there's a bigger purpose to what I'm doing. And if I stay in my own way too long, then I'm not helping others that need the help in order to make the impact they want. So I look at it from a bigger picture, and that helps motivate me to keep going.
That's interesting that you say that because, a lot of I listen to a lot of podcasts, a lot of different programs, and a lot of the gurus out there are saying, find your purpose, reach in within and find what it is. How do you help people find that purpose that they were intended to be here for if they
Yeah.
don't know what their purpose is.
Yeah, you know what, Diva, that is absolutely like the holy grail for people, right? I have found that is the number one thing frustrates so many people is they just feel like they're not living their purpose and they don't know what it is at all ages, right? I speak to people that are in their 80s and don't know their purpose yet, right? What I would tell you is it's a process because I think one of the big challenges is everybody wants this big sign that says your purpose is, and we don't get it. The majority of us, very few people really know from a young age what that is. And because we're all capable of so much, I think that challenges us too, because we think a purpose is what somebody tells us, or we think it's something that we had from a long time ago that might have evolved. So we're not really sure. So what I do is I just have conversations and I take them through a process to be able to really hone in. And based on how they're answering and how they're responding and how they're thinking, we just dive. We kind of peel back some layers slowly to be able to figure out. So asking really powerful questions really helps people look at it from a different lens to get to those places, I call it in their inner soul, they have maybe not peeked at before, that gives new insights. Those new insights I kind of dig into with them. And then based on their responses, we can tell if we're getting closer or if we're getting further away. And then we respond accordingly.
Yeah. Ah, I got you. I called it, and I just sent my final draft to my publisher on my book on embodying your identity for the life you want to live, because we all have identities, different identities. And I think in what you're saying, when you're helping people find their purpose, you really have to tap into their inner, like which identity is their purpose, does their purpose lie? And that's really deep. It really, really is deep. On the superficial, people will tell you my purpose is, and then when you see their actions, I guess their thoughts bring them into actions. They're not anywhere near their purpose anywhere.
Yeah.
So how do you find those people who may give you some pushback? No, Susan, that's not my purpose. But you can see it. It's like a picture. It's like, it's a canvas there. There's a picture there. You know what you're seeing. And yet the person who actually is painting it is not seeing it at all. I mean, how do you combat that? And how do you get through to those people? Because there's a lot
Yeah.
of people right here that are probably wondering, like, hey, what is my purpose? How do I tap into my purpose?
Yeah. Listen, that's one component of something I could definitely do for people, but I don't tell people their purpose.
Okay.
Right? So because I don't tell them their purpose, I don't get pushback on, no, Susan, that's not my purpose, because I'm not there to tell them what their purpose is. What I
Okay.
do is I try to draw out what they believe their purpose, but here's the key, right? As you're asking, really it's this, Diva. People, their bodies give away a lot of information from their inner thoughts that they don't realize, right? Like the neural linguistics, NLP, people talk about these type of things. But what happens is people can tell when they're snowing you a little bit, or they think they're telling a story or whatever it may be. And I tap into that. So when people are trying to tell me their purpose, but it seems misaligned from how they're reacting, how they're sounding, how they're showing up, then all I do is show them the mirror, right? Like you're saying this is, but this is what's happening. So based on that, I might challenge a little bit, and I'll ask for permission. A lot of times if I'm digging a little deep and it's a little sensitive, ask permission, like, would you like to, dig a little deeper into this? And they're so grateful because they haven't had anybody help them navigate that sometimes. And they don't know because they're getting external pressures. People who tell them, you should be like this. People told me all the time, you should do this, you should be like this, you should have this, you should, because they see a skill, they see an aptitude, they see something that they feel like they're helping you. But each of us, where we struggle is that we think there's just one purpose. But actually, any of us can create a purpose that we just want and then sort of go for it, if you will. It doesn't have to be the one thing. That's why everyone's holding, like, is it the right one or not? And it can evolve over time. Your purpose at age 20 may not be the same as your at 35, may not be the same one as your 55, it may not be the same one as 75. We can evolve it over time, but really for me, what I do is I just hold up a mirror, ask powerful questions to really sort of dive into it from a different perspective and see where we can go from there.
Yeah. Well, where do you see your industry, let's say in another 5 years, changing that's going to cause you and your team to think differently or even to change things? Where do you see that industry going?
The industry is really going to more, I think, collaborations where people can come in on one session and get multitude of talent to build their skills rather than just one particular company. So I have a collaboration with Dr. Heidi, and Dr. Heidi Mina is a business psychologist. And I have it with Coach Christina. And the three of us, it's Christina Robinson Smeltzer, and the three of us are putting together a virtual event on June 27th called Overcoming Overwhelm, right? Strategies to reclaim balance. And we're going to focus on this overwhelm topic that's really pervasive in today's society and world. And that's 10 to 4 Central Standard Time. And so where really people can go is they can come to one type of virtual event and get multitude of coaches or experts in a variety of different areas. And that is going to be more helpful for their use of time rather than just sometimes one particular person or one thing. Both can be helpful depending on the skills, but that is where I see the industry more and more going. So I hope people are able to take the time for themselves, especially on something pervasive like this. The website that they can go to really learn more about that is thetimeistoday.com. Thetimeistoday.com. And in May, we have an early bird special, which is $50 off the registration price. So it's only $79 for a full day virtual event. In June, it'll be $129. It'll go back up to regular price, which is still a
Okay.
great deal to get a full
Right.
day of information
Right.
from three experts.
Right. So the website again is thetimeistoday.com
Yes,
to
for that
register
event.
to register for the Overcoming Well, right? The
Yes,
strategies to reclaim balance.
yes, absolutely.
Oh, excellent. And that would be June 27, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., ladies and gentlemen. So go to thetimeistoday.com to register for that. And you get 50% off before June if you register before June. This is exciting.
Yeah,
So
thanks, Diva, but I want to correct, it's $50 off, not
50,
50% off.
oh, 50, I'm
Nope,
sorry.
$50 off. That's okay.
$50 off. $50 off. It'll be $79.
Yes,
Hey, excellent, excellent. Okay.
in May, if they register.
Oh, that's wonderful. So guys, if you really want strategies to reclaim your balance, register, listen to Susan and her colleagues here that will help you. It's almost a full day, right? 10 to 4
Yeah.
p.m.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, we
Right.
really wanted to make it robust because, overwhelm is a really big topic. So we need to break it down to give multiple strategies so it makes sense so that people can implement. And so that takes a little bit deeper dive, which is why we're making a full day event.
Okay, so we'll put that in the chat as well, the where you can actually register. Now, even though we are supposed to be live, this is a recorded recording. We've pre-recorded this, so we're not going to be able to answer your questions live right now. But if you put your questions in the chat, we'll be monitoring it on Friday, and we will be able to get back to you with answers. Okay, so just full disclosure.
Yeah,
So, so
Diva, if people have additional questions too, they can always contact, yourself, right, with different things and myself as well, right? So I want to have people feel like, there's avenues to reach me and reach you. Like for me, they can go to my website, impactfulstrategiesllc.com, and they can ask a question in there, right? They can go to LinkedIn and connect with me, whatever they need to be able to facilitate, to your point, more information. They can, find me on Facebook, Instagram, all those good jazz ways to do that. And for your listeners, right? For people tuning into Diva's Two Cents, because really you're out there trying to help people, right?
Mhm.
Get information, find out what's going on. You're really about big things in your, things. That's what I know about you, Diva. And so what I wanted to do is create something special for your listeners when they're tuning in today. And I
Okay.
actually put a bonus together. So if they wanted to
Oh,
go to impactfulstrategiesllc.com/bonus, they can get a free electronic copy of my chapter in my best-selling book, The Keys to Authenticity. It'll be sent to them electronically so they can read just a little snippet and learn a little bit more about how being authentic has really been able to propel myself, and they could propel themselves in their own lives and career.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. Hey guys, Impactful Strategies, LLC.com/bonus,
Yeah.
right? Slash bonus. And you will get Susan Rucker's snippet of a chapter that she has in her book so that you can read it at your leisure. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Susan. I greatly appreciate it. I appreciate the time that you took to come out and talk to the audience. The stuff that you have provided, the insight to overwhelm and to confidence and purpose and all of it. I really, really appreciate it. The bonus that you're giving our viewers here, they just have to go to Impact Strategies. As a matter of fact, it's right here. Look at it right there.
Yeah, impactfulstrategiesllc.com. Yes.
LLC.com. Please go there. Send her a little, go in there and reach out. Reach out. Final thoughts, young lady. What do you have for final
Yeah. I always like to end things with a quote, right? And so for me, one of my favorite quotes actually is by C.S. Lewis. And he writes that you can't go back and change, the beginning. We always want to go back and we wish we could do with hindsight, right? You can't go back and change the beginning, but you can start where you are right now and you can change the ending. So the big thing is whatever has already happened has happened. But today is the moment. Today is the time is today, right? .com. The time is today to really be able to start our new story, our new chapter, our new ending, our new life, our new way of thinking. We can do that, right? By helping each other, by tuning in, by seeking help, by collaborating. So for me, I like to look at that because we can always look at the past. It daunts us, it weighs us down. But for me, it's all about the time is now going forward to make the difference we want to and the impact we can. Thank you so much for having me on. It's been a pleasure. I always enjoy chatting with you, and I love what you're up to, helping really so many people out there do big things, Diva.
Thank you so much. And don't forget, guys, numbers tell stories. All right. So what do your numbers, what story is your number telling you?
Nice.
Okay. Hold on, hold on.